I want to die with memories, not dreams. My aspirations when I was going to Queensland that I was going to make all my money and I was going to set myself up for life. Came back to WA with dreadlocks and a map and nothing else.
Right.
No money, nothing.
You've challenged from the beginning building a business that works for you as opposed to a business that kind of binds you.
So I guess I've never really lived a conventional life to a degree. If I felt that I wanted to do something, I thought, oh, I'm going to give that a try. So when it came down to doing the company, we said, okay, well, should we start? Because we didn't really have a game plan.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty clear and easy choice is, do we want to be stuck in this lane working for someone else for the rest of our lives? Or do we want to be in this lane where not only in this lane we can go off to this direction or that direction or whatever we want to do and I guess have sort of freedom. So that was a big learning curve for me.
You're listening to The Ultimate Leader's Edge, where we explore the mindset and methods behind great leadership.
Today I'm joined by Justine Teggelove, co-founder of Rodine Australia and one of the few women in Australia to have held an executive leadership role in the commercial construction industry. What I admire most about Justine isn't just her amazing career, it's how she's chosen to live her life. She's built success on her terms, prioritising travel, family, friends and experiences along the way. Justine is a good friend, a surfer, a subtle entrepreneur and an all-round great human. Justine, welcome to The Ultimate Leader's Edge. Thank you so much, beautiful Justine, for joining me on The Ultimate Leader's Edge.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited to have you here for so many reasons. One, obviously, I'm a massive fan, not just of your career, but of how you live your life. And I'm really excited to explore that a little bit more today. But to start us off, give us a little bit about Justine. And I'm saying Justine rather than Jub, but you know, you use either way.
Okay, well, we'll stay with Justine.
Stay with Justine.
So my story, I guess when I was in high school, I was that typical high school student that didn't know what she wanted to do. So when I left high school, I actually did merchandising, display design, so the old window dressing.
Yeah.
Did that at TAFE, finished that, and then thought, I'm not too sure I want to do that. Then I went and travelled. Went to Queensland, came back from Queensland. My aspirations when I was going to Queensland that I was going to make all my money and I was going to set myself up for life, then come back to WA where I'm from. Came back to WA with dreadlocks and a map and nothing else.
Right.
No money, nothing.
Okay.
And then...
Plan A didn't work.
No, but I had a hell of a good time. Then a friend of mine actually said the West Australian School of Nursing had an intake. And I thought, I don't want to do that. And then she said, you got paid. I went, I want to do that. So then I actually enrolled to do nursing. Interestingly enough, interviewed well. They decided that, yes, I could be a nursing student. And then I also had the choice to go into psychiatry and that interested me. So I ended up being a nurse for 20 odd years in psychiatry, working from large institutions to community to psych emergency teams. And then I got pregnant with my children. My last job before I quit nursing was actually managing an eating disorder clinic at a private hospital.
Wow.
So I had a bit of a varied career, I guess you could say, before I jumped into my next job.
Which is?
Co-founding a commercial construction company.
And I mean, that's a big job to do when you're pregnant, to go, wow, I think I'm going to jump into a construction company. Never had come from construction, come from nursing, retail nursing, a whole bunch of things, and headed into construction.
Yes, it was a big jump. Didn't really think that the skills that I had in nursing would be so transferable, for starters. The main reason we really looked at opening the company was we had 2 young children and it was not to make money. We wanted to go on holidays. And it was, we didn't want to be beholden to an employer that we'd only get 4 weeks a year. So we were sitting around one day and we said, okay, well, if we want to have the quality of life that we want to have, how are we going to do that? And then I sort of said, well, why don't we open a company? My co-founder said, yep, great idea. We had no idea what that actually encompassed or what it meant. And then the journey began. But we really didn't have a set plan. The only plan we had was we wanted holidays. That was it.
And I love that, because often as founders, we actually want to build a lifestyle business, but we end up building a childcare centre. You know, like we end up building a job, or and we don't have leave, and we don't have any of those things. One of the things I absolutely love about you is you've challenged from the beginning building a business that works for you, as opposed to a business that kind of binds you, or that doesn't allow you the freedom to do the things that you want. Tell me about like that moment where you went, I don't want to do this a traditional way. I want to build a business that works for us. How did you do that? What kind of drove that thinking?
I think, and I'll speak on my half of the founder, for me, it was always, I would always back myself. So I guess I've never really lived a conventional life to a degree. If I felt that I wanted to do something, I thought, oh, I'm going to give that a try. Now, whether it would work out or not, I didn't know the outcome, but I would rather try it and see how it goes. So when it came down to doing the company, we said, okay, well, should we start? Because we didn't really have a game plan, it's actually kind of easy. If you have no game plan, you sort of nimble and you sort of go with the flow. And because it really was about quality of life.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty clear and easy choice is, do we want to be stuck in this lane working for someone else for the rest of our lives? Or do we want to be in this lane where not only are we in this lane, we can go off to this direction or that direction or whatever we wanted to do, and I guess have sort of freedom. And we went, yeah, I think that's actually what we want to do. And I think for myself, it was backing myself. And then obviously my co-founder was the same. He backed himself to say, yeah, we can give this a try, because what was the worst thing going to happen? He could go back to what he was doing and I could go back to what I was doing. So, you know, it was, as far as I was concerned, it's a win-win.
That's the simplicity, but
absolutely,
you know, we complicate it.
I think sometimes that's actually one of those things. We make life as complicated as enough, and the way that I approach things is, because life is complicated, I like to simplify it. So it was very simple. Do we want to have more freedom? Yes, we do. Working for an employer, will we have it? Probably not. Shall we open up a company? Let's give it a crack. That was pretty much
and
it.
then just learn. Like,
Absolutely.
how did you learn the stuff you needed to know to be a business owner, about construction? I mean, you are one of, you know, the only female senior execs in construction. It's a pretty ballsy move to make. You know, let's just try it.
You know, naivety is a great thing when you've got no idea. I think the thing is, because I'd obviously come from a nursing background, I was so used to managing multiple different stakeholders at any given time,
really
whether it was an internal or whether it was the external. So whether it was my patients, whether it was the, you know, family members, whether it was the rest of my team. So I was used to sort of managing that. I think also too is, in construction, it's quite a grey-ish area at times. Why I come from obviously health, where you couldn't move from A to B unless every documentation was filled out in A first. So that was a steep learning curve for me. It wasn't so much the terminology or even how you built things. That part was sort of easy. It was, hold on a minute, we can be at step 6. Well, we haven't even finished 1 and 2. So that was a big learning curve for me.
Yeah.
But it was just, I enjoyed doing new things, and I enjoy moving in the sense of going to the next stage of something. So for me, it seemed to be somewhat of an easy transition. There were times where, you know, obviously I felt so out of my depth. I was that duck on the water, and I was, you know, going madly under the water. But again, I would back myself and say, okay, I think I can do this. Yeah,
and I just
absolutely.
need to find it.
Yes.
I mean, Rodine grew, though. This wasn't just a little convenience business. You've grown it significantly. What do you think were the critical aspects of that growth? Like, how were you able to scale it? And what were those big differences of when you kind of moved from, oh, this is a thing that can give us freedom, to actually, we're going to scale this business and actually turn it into something quite big?
There were, I guess, crossroads when the company got to certain stages. So the first one was we were working from home. We had a home office. We were literally sitting next to each other. I'd answer the phone and say, you know, good morning, Rodine. Can I please speak to someone? Say, yes, please hold the line. Literally pass the phone next to me. And then they would ring and say, do you have capacity for storage? I would go into our garage and I would be guessing. I got no idea. So I guess you get to crossroads. The next one was, okay, we're going to outgrow the home office. What do we do next? right, we're now going to go to an office. Then from there it was, do we put on employees? We can't continue to do the work, just the two of us. So then it was a crossroads. Do we make a decision to do that? Then it would be the type of clientele that we would go on to. So I guess each one we sort of hit a crossroads, and we would made a conscious decision and sit down and say, do we want to do it? Because each decision would have benefits, but it would also have more responsibility. And we would sort of weigh up which would give us the opportunities. We would say, okay, we might have better projects, or we might have bigger projects, but this will be the trade-off. Is it worth it? Yes, no. Generally, the answer would be yes. So I guess when we got to those crossroads, we would sort of really have to nut it out and go, do we think this is the best thing that we need to be doing? Keeping in balance our quality of life.
And you've always kept that
Absolutely
at the pinnacle of the decision-making process. I'm going to break that down in a little bit more detail because I really want to unpick that. What do you think good culture is? Like, as you grew, obviously making sure you protected time to do the things that were important. We'll unpack that shortly. But having a business that you also wanted to be a part of, and part of that is a good culture. What does a good culture look like to you?
Good culture to me is that when people go home, they've enjoyed their day.
Yeah.
Now, whether that will
Simple
be
as that.
simple as that, could be that they're working on challenging projects, could be that they're enjoying the team that they're working with, could be that they feel valued within the team, could be that they've actually hit a milestone in a project that they weren't anticipating to hit, could be that it's, tendering in a new project that they're looking at it very differently and problem solving. But fundamentally for me, when you go home at the end of the day, you're feeling pretty happy about your day. I mean, we spend the majority of our waking hours at work. Who wants to go to a place you don't enjoy? Bollocks that.
And what do you do to ensure that ongoing success? Like, is it, I mean, there's no magic formula, but what rhythms, routines, things that you stick to become part of those things that you feel attribute back to that ability to continue to grow successfully?
Being engaged with our staff would be the big one.
Yep.
So before we even have a conversation about any work, it will always be, how are you? If they're married or not married, or partners, children, how's the family? It might be a graduation with the children. It could be they bought a new home. We actually look at each employee as a full entity of more than just working for our company. And so really, at the end of, absolutely. So at the end of the day, it's actually investing your time with these people, because at the end of the day, I like them. I actually like the people that work for us. And the fact we have a low turnover of staff, I think they like us too.
Well, I hope so,
do.
We hope so.
But yeah, you actually invest your time with them and actually listen to them. And I guess we've probably maintained that, I guess, a bit of a family approach, which is it's not just work. Yes, there's times when we're all going to dig in deep and have to do what we would need to do, but there's that real care factor. And we've got a particular one, actually all of them, but one particular employee said only recently, he said, I actually care about all my staff here. And I thought, wow, that's freaking cool. That's great.
Yeah, I love that. Construction isn't always easy, and not necessarily easy for women. What don't you think is spoken about enough in construction, and what could we do to get more women in?
Oh, look, I've been asked that for many years. It's a really tricky one. I guess one thing that's not spoken to a lot is, and I can only speak about how I work within industry, is there are different nuances with working with males and females. There is a general that we're very similar, but there are some differences. So one of those, what's that book? Men Are From
Venus?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So I guess the way that you communicate within the team between male and female, and a very simple one might be with some of the males that I communicate, it's short, it's more concise, and it might only be 3 points. While a female, I might be able to expand a bit more and I might have 7 or 8 points. So I guess the communication styles. I think the other thing is true is we need to also recognise that sometimes, is it actually truly a roadblock that you're coming across, particularly with the males that you might be working with, or is it they just haven't seen it before? So sometimes I've come across...
Can't see what you can't see.
Correct. So sometimes I've come across a situation where I might have had a male talk to me in a way that's not so much derogatory, but in a way that I've pulled them up and said, hey, hold on a minute. And they've actually apologised, and they've actually said, well, we've never actually had a female boss before. So it's sort of navigating for them as well. How do we get females and retain? It's a difficult one. It's the quality of, balance between family and work life. It's the interest of females coming in. We have so many more females now getting into the STEM, the technology and the engineering and the maths and construction. How we retain, it's a difficult one. I wish I had a simple answer for that one.
It's hard, isn't it?
Because all the people that I know that work within the industry are actually very, very keen to get the females and to retain.
They want them and just can't
Absolutely.
find them. And what do you think women bring? What do they bring that's maybe different to men?
Their ability to be across so many things at any given time, the multitasking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just inbred, isn't it?
Absolutely. Their ability to not only just multitask across so many areas, but the attention to detail at the same time.
Yeah.
That is what I've noticed is pivotal, particularly in some of the project managers that we had. They've been able to be across so many different areas, but their attention to detail is phenomenal.
Love that. One of the things I absolutely love about you is your relentlessness to live life on your terms. What do you protect?
My soul. So things that feed me, that give me motivation, that make me happy to the core of who I am, they're the things I protect. And included in that is my family, my space, my time. We've only got one time on this earth. You've only got 24 hours in the day. You can only spread yourself so thin. And at the end of the day, is it worth it? My answer to that is no.
Yeah. I mean, you're not someone who waits to get a health diagnosis to build a bucket list. You live your bucket list.
Yes.
You know, you plan your travel,
Yes.
plan everything first, and then the business fits around.
Correct.
That.
I want to die with memories, not dreams.
Yeah.
And particularly in my days when I was nursing, I don't think I could ever remember a patient saying, I wish I had more of. It was, I wish I had said, I wish I had gone, I wish I had done. It wasn't, I wish I had more of. So I guess that's
simplistic.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a great message for business owners is don't forget to enjoy yourself along the way.
Oh my gosh. Then otherwise, what's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point of doing it?
And when you're stuck in it and you just can't see past it, sometimes you've just driven yourself into a job, not a business.
Yeah.
And it's going back and really looking at what do you need to do to have your business give you the freedom.
Correct.
The things that are important to you, I think. So
Absolutely.
love that.
I'm going to unpack only because I know how much time you, or actually some of the things that you do that you might not think about that you do, that actually contribute to you living life on your own terms. Tell me about what a day looks like for you, or what are some of those things that you do to make sure that you look after yourself?
So I would call them soul feeding things. So I love the ocean. So the ocean is where I feel at my most centered. So when I get up in the morning or I beat away and I come home, I take my shoes off, I walk around in bare feet. I'm the hippie ilk. Yeah, I walk around bare feet. So I'll go down to the ocean, I'll put my feet in sand and I'll go for a swim. Just get grounded. Absolutely. And the other things is I love music. So while I'm working, I'll have music on. In the car, it is blaring. I was that mother that would turn up at the primary school with Arrested Development blaring back. And my kids, banging in the background. Music has always been a really big a thing for me, but and also just sounds really silly, just sitting. I could quite happily just sit somewhere and just watch the day go by. I think sometimes life is so loud and so busy that I think you get caught up and forget, well, actually, who is it and what is it that I enjoy doing? So sitting quiet for a while and just being an observer of life gives it a really profound one for me as well.
I'm going to go, off my script here, and talk about having a business with a partner. Whether it's a sister, whether it's a partner. How do you do that? How do you have a business where you had when you're together at work and then you're together at home and you need to make decisions? What tips would you give to people who are in business with another family member around how to actually keep that separation, but also do it successfully? Because I think you've managed to do that really well.
So another one was respect for each role. So my partner, business partner, we had each role we respected. I didn't want to do his role and he didn't want to do
Which is a good point, because a lot of times people just co-direct, but they just do everything together. They don't necessarily separate out those roles.
He could also play his strengths as well. So my strength would be in one area and his was another. So respect for each other's role, and then let us do our role. When we got fined and we were with the kids, we were with the kids. Our priority has always been the family unit. So when we were with the children, it was always with the children.
Yeah, we didn't see where you are.
Absolutely. Because kids don't care. But at the end of the day, the kids do not really care. Particularly when they're very young, where you imagine when they go older, they really don't want to hear about it or care about it.
Yeah.
When we were sitting around the dinner, so we always had dinner at the dinner table, was not work. How was your day at school? What happened? They may ask us about what's going on. And we would say, oh, look, we've got a new project, or it might be doing this, and they were really excited. But any issues that we had at work was not actually at the dinner table. It was about being present there and then with the kids. This is our quality time. And then same again, when dinner was finished, if one of us had to do a bit of work, then we had to stay, or they would actually, maybe sit quietly, someone do a bit of work, but it wasn't to be sitting there at your computer, trying to parent, trying to cook dinner, trying to do all that sort of stuff. It just doesn't work. Well, I found it doesn't work. So when you're there with the children, you're committed with that time with them. Because at the end of the day, children want time. They don't want things. They just want mum and dad's attention and time a lot.
But you're not, you are very calm and practical, but you can be quite harsh, in just the disciplines that you put in place with the kids and talking about being founders who bring out kids. From a very young age, these children have had to learn how to orientate themselves. I love your airfall story or your pocket money story. Let me share some of that.
So I was pretty strict though. Like my kids would actually say lots of love, lots of care, but I was strict. I also took the role as their parent that I was to guide them to be well-rounded young individuals going into the world when they go older. So when we travelled, we would say, okay, this is zone primary school. We would get them to tell us what gate do we need to go to, where is the gate. So they would have to look up at the screen. They would have to figure out which flight we were on, where the gate was. Then we walk and they would find the gate for us.
Yeah.
Pocket money. So I think at the time when my kids in primary school, some kids were getting $20 a week. Kids were getting $1 group. So I was $52. They were like, whoa, Then I remember when they got older, I think it was maybe grade 5 or grade 6, I said to them, you have an option. You can have your year's pocket money up front, but then that's it. Or, you had your year's pocket money up front and that's it. One child said, I'll take the year and spend it all. One child said, I'll take the year and then sort of squirrel it away. And so it was a great thing on regards to budgeting. Now, when it came to, like clothing opts up, obviously, with parents. And I think that we also had anything was open for discussion. So we often had family meetings. So generally it was my daughter. She would actually say, Mum, I think it's time to have a family meeting.
Yeah, right.
So it's really funny is they were in grade 2, grade 1, and my daughter said, Mum, I think we need to have a family meeting. And I went, okay, rightio. And my husband was at work, so I was at home, and I said, what's the meeting about? And she said, well, we've decided, meaning her and brother, that they would like to make their own lunches. So from grade 2 till nearly year 11 or 12, year 11, they made their own lunches. The deal was whatever I bought is what they had to make. It wasn't your junk food and anything. So they were fiercely independent from the get-go. And they're such great kids. They were they're such great kids. You know what? If they meet my kids, I'll still hang around with them.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool. But I love the concept because it's so relevant back in the workplace, and I know that there be similar things that you apply back in of moving your team from dependent to independent.
Correct.
And the sign of success with a team is to think about the skills that they've got and what you need to do to get them to operate without you.
Absolutely. So for the children, we say that they'll be well-rounded, individuals and be resilient and be independent. Yeah. And there's also a line, I think when kids are growing up, where you're the manager and then you convert over to the consultant.
Yeah.
And so we're obviously now, our kids are in their 20s in the consultant phase. It's kind of the same when you've got employees. Why would I be employing you who has expertise in contract administration or project management? Yeah. Why wouldn't I be giving you all the opportunities to exert those skills that you have? That's why I've employed you.
Yeah.
Because if I give you the opportunity to do what you need to do, then I've got the opportunity what I need to do, and then selectively we all move on. Otherwise, it just bottlenecks it.
Yeah.
And that can't be satisfying to go to work, to not be able to do what you're really good at doing, what you enjoy doing.
Yep.
And you've got someone sort of hovering over you, as that let them go, and then be there as a consultant. We've always said, make a decision. Even if it may not be the right one, you made a decision, and we may talk about later on and go, okay, what could we have done better?
Yeah, you reflect.
Absolutely.
What's some of the best advice you've been given? Don't get caught up in the things that don't really matter. So you need to figure out what does matter. Make yourself your priority. If you're not looking after yourself, you're not going to be very good for anybody else. That includes a home, family, friendships, life, work. Don't take work home with you. Enjoy the ride.
I love that so much.
Biggest lessons learned. Biggest lessons learned. Enough doesn't mean it's better. When to know, when to say no.
That's a big one, isn't it, Tess? I think as entrepreneurs, learning how to say no is sometimes more important. What's one of the hardest decisions you've had to make and why?
The hardest one was when we started to employ. When we put on employees and still need to stay, we are taking on school fees, mortgages, house pay, car payments, whatever it may be, and we do it for long term. So that was probably the hardest one, which was, okay, if we put on employees, this goes to another level, and there's a responsibility that goes with it. Are we ready? Are we prepared for that? And that was probably one of the hardest ones. Because we could have stayed at a level where it was easier to some degree.
Yeah.
I don't regret it at all because I thoroughly loved what we built and the culture and the team and everyone we had. But that was the hardest one because it is scary.
Yeah.
And you can think that you're going to be good at something. You don't necessarily know it. And particularly when you're good on employees, that's going to be a hard lesson to learn when you've actually got someone else's livelihood involved in it. So that was the hard one.
Yeah. And they make the decision, don't they? They make the decision that whether you're a good leader or not, so not necessarily make that decision, they'll tell you. I'm going to ask one more before I ask a bit more about impact. What do you look for in employees that you hire? Because you've got such a great culture and you obviously, protect it fiercely and they stay. What are you looking for? What are those traits of someone when you're interviewing that you're really looking for as a fit to your business?
It's a good question because we often talk about this within the theme.
Yeah.
We will take someone who fits the culture of who we are more so than skin.
Yeah.
And so what are we looking for? And I know in the generic words, team, we're looking at their working history prior to coming to us, team, and I often ask them what are the values that are most important in their life. We look at loyalty, you look at those of ethics, and we kind of get a gauge on that. And another one is actually eye contact when we're talking with them and the feel. Sometimes it may not always be a science because I'm getting to feel that all. I mean, it's much documentation as I can, but sometimes it's just going to be how I feel about them.
Yeah.
And add word of mouth is a big one. Yeah. So quite a few of the staff members that we employ now have actually come from word of mouth from previous employees. And the reason being is they are our biggest filtering system because they know how we operate. So they know who will be what they call the Rodine fit. They'll actually say, yep, they're a Rodine person or not.
Yeah. Yeah. What's a Rodine person?
Rodine person is someone that is really team orientated, that will do the work that needs to be done, that will chip in even if it's not their role. So they're probably the main one I would say is about chip in even though it's not their role. Because sometimes, we might have had the director sweeping the floors. Yeah. So we've actually got, so put it aside, we had a tender that was due recently. One of the guys that we employ went in there later in the afternoon and then into the evening because he felt he just really wanted to get it done properly. Now, our rule in our company, there are only two people that are available 24/7, myself and the other founder. But this is how they feel, the passion about Rodine. He went in after hours because he just felt that's what you just needed to do, get done. Had people turn up on site on their days off because they just make it across the line. So there's a lot of buy-in and pride, a lot of pride, and no ego.
No, I think that's very clear in your business is no ego, just wait. Okay, and so, it's such an important characteristic, I think, and you can see it sometimes, can't you, in terms of the interview. A little bit more philosophical. When you look ahead, what kind of impact do you want your life and leadership to have, not just in business, but on the people around you?
I wanted that when people walk away from me or if they leave Rodine, that they actually walk away happier, a better person, and that they can actually say that wasn't worth their time. Yeah.
for the impact that I want in regards to my personal life, I want it that I will actually have people that when they lead, be around me in my presence, that they feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then whether it's short or long, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they feel good.
Sometimes as entrepreneurs, it can feel like we keep chasing more. When or what does enough look like to you?
And you're sitting quietly and you feel good about it. You're okay.
Yeah.
It's not more stuff. Because more stuff is, you'll never have enough stuff. It's when you're sitting quietly, you go, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Couple of rapid fire questions. What is your favourite quote or mantra and why?
To die with memories, not dreams. Why? Because you've only got one time to serve. So I know it's in a cliche, make the most of it.
Yeah. Yep. What's one belief about success that you no longer subscribe to?
More is not enough. Sorry. Enough is not, no, what is it? More is not enough?
Yeah.
Yeah. More is, I mean, you got it right. Yeah.
And if you had one piece of advice for scaling entrepreneurs across Australia, what would you say?
Remember why you started and stay true to you. Know yourself so well that when you're actually deviating it, you know that you've actually gone off the path. So stay true to who you are as a person.
And when did you work that out to you?
Oh, this is a really hard one. I don't know a time that I can sort of recall that I worked it out. I think I just came, my mate once said, you just came into the world just kind of knowing.
Yeah.
My son's very similar. I wish I had a really clear answer.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I do know when I deviate from it. I do know when I'm not actually doing the things I should be doing.
Yeah.
That how and when, I'm not 100% sure. But I think if you challenge anyone, they actually generally, in the gut, they know.
Yeah.
We all know.
Yeah. Yeah. And what would you see? I mean, you do a lot of coaching, you see a lot of businesses. What do you think entrepreneurs are doing wrong?
Oh, trying to do too much and maybe the focus on what they're doing more so than why they're done. And what does success truly look like? If it's monetary, if it's only just monetary, then you may come unstuck.
Yeah, have bigger reasons. Absolutely. Have bigger reasons. Say yes to the holiday now.
Absolutely.
And get into the water. Is that the advice?
That's my advice. Take your shoes off, walk, grab their feet, and go to the ocean, put your feet in the sand.
And get grounded.
Absolutely.
I love that. I am going to finish off with your I know often as women I get this as well, where people are like, oh, it's all about the women piece. But if you were talking to your younger self or to your daughter and you were giving them advice now, knowing what you know about the world, what would you say?
It's going to be okay. How you are now is enough. And where you're going to go is going to be fantastic. Just trust yourself. Love that.
Well, I think it's a great way to end. Thank you so much. As always, I absolutely enjoy spending and value every minute I get to spend with you. I can't wait to look at what's next for Justine. Thank you for joining us on the Ultimate Leader's Edge. I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed making it. We'd love for you to follow us, like and share so we can reach as many leaders as we possibly can. If you want to go deeper in your leadership journey and stop being the bottleneck, then you can follow us at performancecollectiveacademy.com.